Hello, welcome back to the Prep Podcast. You're listening in on episode 2, and we have some very, very exciting things planned for today, so keep listening. You are going to love it. My name is Taylor Kaplan. I'm the host / producer / director of the Prep Podcast. And before we even dive into everything, I just wanted to thank you all so much for all of the love and support from last week's launch of the podcast. We loved seeing all your comments and posts and all of that, and we really loved seeing everybody who attended our virtual premiere party. That was very different, and it was so exciting to be able to see your faces and hear all your thoughts and all the things that you guys want to hear throughout the whole podcast. We took note of those things, and stay tuned because we are very excited to incorporate those into the podcast. Well, today we have a very exciting guest, and she does so many things at the Prep. She wears so many different hats. It's hilarious, but she is one of the most hardworking people I know, and she is, okay, get ready. She originally started out as a prep student 5 or 6 years ago, so she's an OG prep student. She is now an instructor at the Prep. She's our OG intern, the #1 first intern to come at the Prep. She is the in-person studio manager. She does editing. She is the merchandise manager, all of that stuff while getting her BFA at college. And a side note, she is also one of my best friends, so I'm very, very excited to introduce you all to Ilana Bohm.
Hi guys, how are you?
Yes, so welcome to the podcast.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you to be hosting. You're literally the best, Taylor, so thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you guys, I love Ilana.
Okay. I love you.
So we're just going to do some intro stuff. We're just going to talk about stuff about the Prep and even later some stuff about your personal life. So I think this will be pretty fun and juicy, really exciting. So yeah, tell us a little bit about like what you do at the Prep. We'd love to know what you do.
I mean, what do I do?
What do you not do is the question.
Yeah, kind of. So basically, I started at the Prep about almost 5.5 years ago now. I started as a student, and then from there I became an intern, and I've been interning for 4 years. And I also do like customer service and like talk to new parents and students, which is really exciting.
Yes, a lot of you may recognize her voice from that.
Probably.
Because she's kind of the first voice you hear for the business if you give us a call.
Yes, and I love you all for that. And then this year I became an instructor. So now I'm a junior instructor at the Prep, and I absolutely adore it. It's so awesome. I get to teach all different ages and different classes, and it's really cool to be able to give back.
Yes, I love that. That is really cool. Ilana wears a lot of hats, you guys.
So does Taylor, though.
Yes, thank you. But yes, very cool. We're dying to know about the Prep. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people have a lot of questions. I mean, you deal with all the questions firsthand. So
Yes.
I just want you to share a little bit about what sort of classes that the Prep has to offer. I mean, we offer a lot, but what kind of things do you think people might be drawn to more, or what sort of classes would best suit specific groups of people?
Yeah, for sure. So as many of you guys already know, and who doesn't know, the Prep is a technique-based school first, so we really do emphasize on that technique and that foundation, no matter if you're singing, acting, dancing, no matter what you're doing, right? And it's not just you coming in for a lesson and just being done. No, it's more of a mentorship. Everyone cares about each other. It doesn't matter if you're doing this as a hobby or if you are a series regular, right? It does not matter at all. Everyone's so supportive here, and I would say it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for more of that one-on-one, really trying to, amp up and try to do your reels and demos and that type of thing, or your singing demos, or write a song or something like that, the Prep offers so much for that type of thing. And then for group classes, it's great because you get to meet other people around your age. We have adult classes, we have children's classes, we have little preppers classes, which I personally love the most because they're so cute, and it's so fun to get to see them interact with one another.
Totally. And I mean, especially for these little kids, they lost so much time over the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Because we all know what happened.
Let's not bring it up.
Let's not bring that up. But yeah, I think everything is very based on what every student really wants to do.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of hand-tailored towards
Yeah.
any person that wants to do it.
Exactly.
And we also offer career counseling, resume building. We have great relationships with different photographers for headshots. You know, we're always bringing in in-house people. And then I always say, too, like, we're always bringing in agents and managers for showcases and Q&As with casting directors, and casting directors reaching out to us in particular because they had a student work on a set with them and they're looking for a very specific type. So,
Yes, totally. Now, going a little bit deeper into that, what would be the difference between a private lesson and a group lesson? What would people get differently based off of those two different classes?
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much for asking that, Taylor. So basically, that is one of our most asked questions, I would say. And I would say it kind of depends on who you are as a person or who your child is as a person. If your child is super outgoing and, you know, loves being in a classroom setting and like making friends and being with people who are very much like them and likes to like be a social butterfly, group classes are a great way to get started. You know, if you're kind of dabbling into different things and like trying to see if like, oh, acting is like your thing or not, it's a great way to get started because it isn't a full commitment as, you know, privates are. You're going to get homework and you're going to really have that one-on-one training. It's a little bit more intense because it's just you and your coach. But again, you know, some people do both. Some people love to do privates because they work really hard on like what they need in particular. And then in group classes, they get to witness what the coach is saying to them in those privates and getting to see it firsthand and observe exactly what that coach is saying. So it's so important, I think, to either do both or to try one and just kind of see where you're at.
Now, a big question that I know we get is some people live across the world. We've had students out of country. We still have students. We have students every day. Some are on the West Coast. We're located in Little Silver, New Jersey. That's where we're based. But do you feel like virtual training is as beneficial as being in person? Some people think, ooh, we don't really like that. You know, it's very different looking at somebody on a screen. So give us your thoughts on that. What do you think you have to share with the people at home who don't live locally to us, who are interested in training but are kind of hesitant to really commit to that?
Yeah, of course. So basically, like, if you live local, you're welcome to come into the studio. We have a gorgeous facility. Parents can do work, or, you know, if you have homework in between, you can, like, memorize your lines. We have a great studio lounge.
A lot of parents love the in-person option because they don't have to work the camera. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to work the technology. If it's a voiceover, they just throw them in the room. We do all the things. We put it all together, and then it's very relieving for a lot of parents.
Too, exactly the same exact thing. Parents don't have to worry about, oh, is the karaoke track being played and that type of thing. But if you don't live locally, virtual is still a great option because, for example, on camera, what are you doing? You're on camera, so why not be on that Zoom and be on camera and see? And a lot of producer sessions, and as we know, some auditions still, they're not really coming back in person just yet. They're all on Zoom. So why not get the practice of being on Zoom, learning how to talk? And that's why I think also a lot of our group classes are virtual. And then also another really cool thing is that because of 2020, we're not going to bring up the name, but it was also a blessing in disguise because we were able to have new faculty join and really grow our business because students were all virtual at that moment, right? So everyone was doing it. So we were able to hire coaches that were in LA or Texas or Florida or even like, I think like across the country. It was like insane, or like across the world. Anyone and everyone was able to train. It was great. And what's really, really cool, I think, about the prep personally is that all of our coaches are working professionals. So they're really doing this in the industry. So they're either training, they're taking classes themselves, they're having that mentorship to really help them grow, or, you know, they're on set doing it, but they can still coach because there's Zoom now and they can still coach from on set. Yes. And also another really cool thing is that a lot of our students now who are on set are still getting auditions, so they're able to coach it. And we also have on-set coaching through Zoom now with some of our coaches, which is so cool. And I think that's so special about the prep.
Definitely really awesome. I love that. So another thing that you have to guide people through a lot, this is for the new students more so. So how does the new student process work exactly? When somebody wants to come to the prep, how does that exactly go? How are they going to be guided?
Yeah.
What does that whole thing look like? Because it might be a little confusing to some people.
100%. And I'm happy to answer any phone calls or any emails if you guys still have questions after this. But basically, for group classes, you just sign up for that group class if it is open to the public. Some of our classes are private students only, and that's just because of the level where it's at and the commitment that you have to it. But as far as privates go, your first step would be that 45-minute intake/first technique session, which is 45 minutes. And in the first half, you tell them your goals and what you want to aspire to do and all these different things and all your experiences and what type of training you might have had before and what you're looking for. And if you have any questions, that coach can help you answer them. And they can also just kind of get to see you or your child's personality if you're a parent and a kid, or if you're an adult, totally fine. And then the second half is like an actual technique lesson, right? So that's your first ever lesson at the prep. It's the one that, you're still going to be learning something, but it's also a way for that coach to kind of see the way that your teaching style is and that type of thing, because we have so many faculty members at the prep who specialize in all different things. So from there, the two owners, Teresa Pidius and Jesse Clayton, look over all those notes and they hand select who they think would work best with you or your child. And then from there, 1 to 2 weeks later, our studio manager will send out an email saying, "Welcome to the prep. Thank you so much. Here are the teachers that you've been assigned to." And then there's a link and then you go and click and then you start your prep journey. And we recommend doing recurring lessons just so that this way, you're not regressing at all. You're not taking a 3-month break and having to start from square one again, right? But you're always growing. And we always get this other question too, Taylor, which is, what if I have a self-tape? Can I move that into my technique lesson? And we always say if you're still auditioning and stuff, it's still so important to have that technique, because when you're auditioning, it's like crunch time. You got to get it in. You got to get it done. So why not put your best foot forward? It's like working out, for example, like an athlete. You wouldn't start practice or a game without practicing and conditioning your body. It's the same exact thing.
Exactly.
So,
yes. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick little break here. So we're going to be back in a few minutes. Sound good?
Sounds cool.
Cool.
Hey, it's the Quinny Brothers. Hey, it's Matthew Lamb. Mariella Giordano here. Hey guys, it's Jules. Training at the prep, I've made new friends. Where's my favorite place? The prep. I've gained the best support system. The prep got me ready for those long days on set. I've learned so much since I started. The prep gives me a place where I can make a mistake, and it's okay. Thanks for tuning in. Prep Kids Raw. Best team prep team. Hashtag prep team.
Now let's get back to business.
Wasn't that just the most adorable thing you've ever listened to?
I literally love every single student here. It's not even funny. I can't.
That was everything. I hope you guys just felt the amount of serotonin that we just received from that.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to get a little more personal with Ilana, a little more juicy.
Oh, no.
So, no, it's good. It's good stuff. It's really interesting. Her journey has been really interesting, and I think we could all learn a little bit from everything. So we all know you've been a prep student for, 5 years now?
Yeah.
Quite a long time. So obviously you've grown a lot since that point when you joined here. We're going to talk about how you started and how you got there. So you're the OG intern too. So we're going to go through your whole journey of how this entire prep process went for you, because it's very interesting how in your personal journey outside of the prep, how you just went from square one to where you are now. So let's talk about that. Tell us all about your life.
So I started at the prep when I was a junior in high school, which is crazy because that was a long, long time ago. And I started here for college prep. I was hearing so much about, Teresa Pidius and the prep, and I wanted to join and I wanted to do it. And I was hearing a lot about how a lot of their students were going to college and going to really great colleges. So I knew this was the place to be. So I started first just doing monologues and that type of thing, and then going more into it. Then I started doing more singing too. And I got into a lot of colleges, actually, which is kind of crazy. And I passed my pre-screen for Carnegie Mellon, which, if you know what Carnegie Mellon is, I was shocked out of my mind because I was like, there's no way. But it was honestly because of all the prep that I did here with all the auditions and stuff and my self-tape, and Teresa really breaking down the acting technique for me. I feel like it's really helped. And so I passed that, which was crazy.
Wow.
They loved me in the room, but we're like, hey, we only accept 6 kids. And I was like, yeah, it was just an honor to audition for you. Thank you so much.
That's amazing.
So now I'm a senior at the Hart School, and I'm about to graduate.
Woo!
But, my college career has not been kind of normal at all. During my freshman year, we were told to go home and not to come back. College classes were starting to get very like, teachers didn't know how to work Zoom, so I would have to teach them how to work Zoom.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I knew how to work Zoom was because of my internship at the prep, so I was able to help them through all of that. And it was more like me teaching the professors. So I reached out to Teresa. I was like, I know I've been working with you, but I need to work with you way more. Like, I'm learning nothing at this point. And Teresa literally sat me down and goes, on the Zoom call, she goes, you can't just be theater anymore. She's like, you got to do it my way. You got to do TV and film. You got to really go into it full time. I feel like you can do this. And that was the first time ever someone has ever told me, like, I'm going to be okay and I'm going to make it, and give me that confidence in, like, I can do it.
Yeah.
And it was just honestly so inspirational. So then from there, I started pre-pro track, which is like, you know, getting your resume going and getting your reels going and your demos. And I literally did my demos. Taylor, wait for this. I did it with a shotgun microphone in my closet with a blanket over my head.
Which works, by the way. Not the ideal
does.
method, but when you're in 2020 and struggling, that is what you do.
Yes,
okay?
you make it work.
That
There's
is
no
what
excuse.
you do.
And so then from there, you know, I did my reels, and they were bringing in different agents and stuff to do showcases and masterclasses and Q&As. So I would literally sign up for everything and anything I possibly could. All these different teachers that they were bringing in, guest artists, anything, because I was so hungry to just learn, right? We were all home bored, and I was like, what can I do? Well, I can work on my craft, and I can work on the one thing I love, which is acting and singing and all that. So then from there, I started doing agent managers and showcases and, you know, getting feedback, because that's all I wanted was just some feedback about like what I can be working on and that type of thing. And then in 2021, I did an agent showcase here, actually, on Zoom with my agent now. And she loved me. She thought all my stuff was great. She thought I was really hardworking and that type of thing. And so she signed me. And right before that, I booked my first featured film through Actors Access, because Teresa actually helped me set up my Actors Access page, and we just started submitting myself for everything and anything I possibly could. So I booked that, which was really interesting to be on set in 2021. First time ever, very different. And then from there, I got my agent, and I started just auditioning, becoming pro track, really diving deep into acting technique classes and that type of thing. And then in 2022, I booked my first episodic, which was really cool. It was The Equalizer, and that was really sick. And then I just booked a guest star role on another episodic, which was really cool. And just doing a lot of classes now and doing advanced acting technique. And what's really cool now is like seeing how much the prep has grown from where we first started to now. And being able to like be in classes with like people my own age and like seeing what they're doing and just having that support system, because I never had that. And like I never had someone give me confidence. And so many people who are in this industry really do truly care about everyone, and they want to like cheer for everyone, and they're going to be there for when you're ups and when you're downs. And it's just so incredible to have like a second family, I'm telling you. And I'm not trying to be cheesy, but
So, yeah, that was an awesome answer. I think we learned a lot, but one of the big takeaways I can see from that is that you were, like 19, 20 starting professionally?
Yeah.
So
kind of late for some people.
I feel like there's a big stigma around starting to act a little bit later in life, which isn't even late. You're obviously very young and youthful. But yeah, a lot of people think you're either a child actor and you're booking because you're cute, you're like 4 years old and you're just booking everything, and then you have credits already. So by the time you're 20, you're like super duper famous. I think there's a big stigma around that where people think, well, if you decide you're going to be an actor a little bit later in life, then like you're kind of in some trouble.
I mean, a lot of the stigma, especially when I was going to college, was you go to college to get an agent and a manager, and then you start booking after college. And I'm still in college now. And of course, my acting training here has really helped me in that respect and really helped me stand out in a lot of my classes, which is really cool. But it's also really nice to be, as a senior, not worried about getting that agent or manager, more like booking like whatever, you know, and just following that journey. And I always say to like even all my students, it's not about the end result. It's not about that booking. It's more about that journey that it took you there. So even if you don't book it, like how far did you come? What did you learn, right? Every single self-tape, you can always learn something. And I always try to remind myself that too, because it can get kind of like tiring, right? Doing all these
Totally.
self-tapes and getting all these no's and stuff. But it's so important to say, well, at least I'm getting these self-tapes. Well, at least I have an agent or a manager. Or, well, at least I'm getting that producer session. At least I'm getting that next step. It's just a win on its own. Even being here at the prep, it's a win on its own, to be honest with you, because you're going to learn so much as not only as an actor, but as a person itself. So, yeah.
Totally. I love that answer. That's awesome. That's for all you people who are scared to start, but you got this.
Yeah, literally.
You have
Don't
quite
be
a few
scared.
students who are older, who are starting, and yeah. How
They're
do you feel
killing
like
it.
you feel like that's going pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's definitely really cool to kind of see all the different ages, get to work with all of them.
Yes.
And kind of see like people being like, I'm a little too old. I'm like, no, you're not. You're never too old. Literally, you're only as old as you feel, number one. Two, like, from me calling, like, new students and stuff, we've had people call when they were 50 years old being like, I want to change careers. And I'm like, yes. And you want to know why? Because whatever they did before will only help them in their acting life. You can't be a phenomenal actor without being present and having worldly experiences, I swear, because you have to be able to put yourself in the character's shoes. So, yeah.
So before I heard you mention voiceover demos and acting reels, so those are obviously very important, crucial things to have as an actor.
Yes.
What do they mean to you? Why do you encourage everybody to have these? Why are these so mandatory to have when you're an actor? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so personally for me, I think they're so important because that's your selling point, right? That's what you're going to be selling to agents or managers. That's what you're going to be showing to casting directors. That's what your agents or managers going to be like telling the casting directors about. It's showing who you are, right? It's the first step into showing exactly who you can be as an actor. And you get to pick what characters you choose, right? It's not, I always tell my students, I'm always like, it doesn't really matter what it says in the breakdown for reels in particular. We can make it whatever we want because it's you and it's not a casting director or a director saying we want it a certain way for this project, but it's supposed to be showcasing you. And I would say the most important thing to think about is that doing a reel or a demo, you shouldn't rush to do it. We always have so many students calling us being like, can I do a reel? Can I do a demo? And I'm like, have you been training? Like, you need to be training first because you want to be at your fullest potential before you do your reels or demos.
Definitely.
You want to put your best foot forward. Don't spend all this money doing a reel or a demo that you're just beginning, right? Because you want to have that technique. You want to have that training first. And I always say, like, a lot of people are like, I want an agent. I want a manager. It's not always about that. It's more about like putting your full potential out there first. Why showcase like something that's like at 20% versus like 80%? Like, it's so much more interesting. And
you really want to just be able to connect to those scripts, connect to the pieces that you're doing because
100%.
a lot of the time in the auditioning world, we don't always get the chance to connect with everything. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to really feel like you can relate to a character when you find stuff that isn't even like you. But, you know, there's ways to get around that. We have ways.
Yes,
but
and Miss Taylor
you
knows
could choose.
mostly about voiceover demos because she does them herself. She's awesome at them.
Yes.
I've been dying to have her
Thank
do
you.
a new one for me because my shotgun microphone one is not going to hold up much
Oh,
longer.
my goodness. We're working on it. We're working on it.
She's awesome, though, I have to tell you. And for reels and, you know, you could do a self-tape reel in our self-tape studios. We have 2 of them. We're SAG approved, too. Let's not forget that. So for voiceovers, we have 2 or 3 voiceovers. We have an emergency one and we have 2 active ones. And we have sound techs on site. I wonder who they are. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Might be the host, maybe? But yeah, so that's really cool too, is to kind of know everyone and kind of be very comfortable. And then as well as we always offering real intensives. So that means like being able to like pretend you're on set and be with a scene partner and really film it as if you are on set. And, you know, you get to pick your location and costumes and how your hair looks and all that. And you do like a marking rehearsal. So you really get to have that on set prep as well, which is really, really cool. And you get to meet new prep people too, which is always awesome.
Always really good.
Yeah.
Always awesome. And it's great to work with people who you have things in common with.
Yeah.
So I think that's really fun.
And don't worry, like nothing's permanent either. You can always redo like that one scene or a new demo if you know, especially kids, if they're growing up and they sound a little bit different, redo your demo. There's no problem with that at all. Or for a scene, if you feel like you're a better acting person now and you feel more confident in what you're doing, it's so good to always keep those updated and going. And, you know, we are talking about career prep and how we have career prep on staff, and they're always looking at casting networks and actors access and making sure that all those profiles are up to date and really helping you walk you through this journey.
Definitely. So what we're going to talk about next is really special, and I think it's a really prominent part of what the prep is. And I think everybody who comes here can relate to this with their coach. And it's something that I try to share with my students. So, Ilana, how do you feel like becoming an actor has improved your everyday life? How has that really changed who you are as a person? I mean, as opposed to you wanting to do something else. Did you want to do something else when you were younger?
No.
Never?
No, I never really knew what I wanted to do until I was in acting and until I was like in theater and stuff. But I guess you would say that I only wanted to be a theater actor, and now I'm kind of like, I want to do everything and anything. I love this.
Yeah, imagine working like a 9-to-5 job in the career that we're on. We were actually just talking about this today. Whoever does, I applaud you. Yes.
I throw my hands up in the air and clap them really, really loud because yes, and you are so impressive and wow. But no, I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What it's lacking for me, and I feel like for you too, is a form of mentorship. Yeah. And I think obviously we love acting. That's our focus in life. That's what we want to do. But also there's something so beautiful about being an actor, and especially being in a place like we found at the prep where we can always consistently be with people who really support us and see us for who we are, because we all have things that we can relate to each other with. Yeah. And I think that's something that's really special, that when you're just out there in the normal world, ooh, you want to be an actor? Oh, good luck. Yeah, that's funny. Not everybody is as supportive as that. So it's really cool to have a support system like this one. And do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, definitely. So like, first of all, being an actor and being a student here myself, I've had different coaches, but I mean, Teresa Pidias has been with me since day one. She's been my mentor. She's really shown me not only just like the acting side of this, but the business side of it. And being an intern, she's really taking me under her wing and like really shown me a lot of different things. And, you know, I'm now able to build websites and, you know, make flyers and do a lot of social media stuff. It's really awesome. And get to promote myself as well. And also just like give back as a coach, you know, giving this advice that I've learned throughout the 5 years of my life. I didn't really have someone to give me confidence until I came to the prep. I not only work with Teresa Pidias on acting and singing and voiceover and all this other stuff, but I also work with Michael Jacobs, who has really given me my voice back in singing. You know, he's really given me my confidence, and I feel like talent can take you so far, and, you know, your technique training can take you so far. I mean, so far. But a lot of it is confidence. And
a lot of it is confidence. Yeah, and that's something that holds you back when you don't have that confidence.
And I never knew what people were saying, and I was always like, yeah, I'm confident. I'm faking it 100%. Because I had people in my life be like, they thought that building me down was easier than building me up. And I think that isn't the way we work here at all. We're very, very confident. And as a student, as a teacher now, the first thing I do with, like, especially like my little ones who feel like, I can't do that, I can't say that, I make them stand with their hands on their hips and they go, I can do it. It's like, you got this. So they say, I got this. And I'm like, no. You got to scream it so that this way the neighbor can hear you next door. And I'm on Zoom, and I might be like with like people in my dorm room or parents in my house. She might sound
a little bit crazy.
I really do. And I tell all my students, I say, listen, I said, you're not going to be doing anything crazy unless I do something crazy first, right? And that builds that trust automatically, right? And I make a fool out of myself, don't worry. I don't care.
Yeah. Sometimes I get looked at like I have like 4 heads.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like, what?
So I make them like really project their voice, be really confident with their hands on their hips, and I go, you got this. And they go, I got this. And I go, yes, you do. And it was so cute because I had a mom DM me and be like, I don't know what you did with my child. They go, but there's just a new air about them. They feel like they can do anything. They feel like if they can't do something, they look at me, they put their hands on their hips, and they go, you got this. I got this. I was like, oh, that made me cry. I was so excited.
So sweet.
It was so cute.
Sweet,
and it's so awesome, too, because, you know, as me and Taylor are OG interns, we now have a whole army of interns. It's crazy.
We do have an army of interns building.
Yes.
There's quite a few of them.
It's
If you guys
crazy.
have been to prep parties or even seen us online, we
You
usually have a
definitely
whole
have.
crew of them running around
It's
and
like
working
our
hard.
whole squad. And
Yes.
it's been really awesome because, you know, Taylor and me, we were mentored by, you know, Teresa Pitius and Jesse Clayton, but they're the owners, so they're really, really busy. So me and Taylor would have to like look for things ourselves if we didn't really want to ask them if they were busy and that type of thing. But now these interns who are coming up and these students who are finding their voices and stuff, they have someone to look up to and they have someone to come to and like be like, I need help. I don't know how to do this.
And we experienced it firsthand. We figured it out.
Yeah.
We had our guidance, but also we did figure out like
Yeah.
a ton of things, I would
yeah,
say.
I would say.
And now, whatever they ask us, we usually have the answer. Almost, actually, yeah.
yeah, and it's
Not to be, you know, not to
Not
toot
to
our
be
own
confident,
horns.
but toot
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it's just really incredible to see how like so many people are starting to look up to, you know, so many of the prep students who have been here for so long, who are doing so many incredible things. But you have so many prep students who are doing so many amazing things too that people are looking up to now. And they're like, I want to be like this person or I want to be like that person.
We have so many people come to the prep and they're like,
Yeah.
to be honest, I saw this person works
Mhm.
here and like I think that's amazing. Like
Yeah.
I really want to do the things that he or she does or that they do. They think
Yeah.
it's really
And
awesome.
what's also
And I think
so-
that's so sweet.
What's also so cute, I mean, it happened during the holiday party, which was so cute. The little kids came up to us and they were like, we want to be interns. So we made them like future interns in training. And it's like 2020, like 8 maybe that they're able to. And it's so cute because they wanted to sell and they wanted to do all these amazing things.
So cute.
So cute. I
It's
love
very-
everyone here. I can't even.
So much fun. I love it. Well, I think that pretty much sums up that. I think we
Yeah.
got a lot of information out there. Yeah, Ilana, do you have any last words to say to everybody?
I mean, keep prepping, keep training, you know, it's all about the journey. It's not about the end result. And never compare yourself to anyone else because you are you.
And you got this.
Yeah, and you got this. And also, Taylor, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it was honestly such a pleasure to have you. And I really think now you guys know way too much about us. So
Once again, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. Ilana and I had a blast recording this, and she shared so much important information, and I think a lot of people will find that beneficial. Anyway, stay tuned for episode 3 coming next week. Not going to spoil anything or tell you guys who it is, but next week's special guest is so cool. They are the bomb. You guys are going to flip out. But I'll give you a little hint. Maybe you guys can figure it out. But they were on a very popular reality TV show. Not the kind you're thinking, but they're very talented and they are awesome and you guys are gonna love it. And you'll find really cool, interesting things about them. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. Thank you all so much for tuning in once again, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.